Okay, so have you ever found a game and it kind of reminds you of something? Well, this is Tales of Argosa, and you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Conan the Barbarian. And I have yet to find a satisfactory like RPG to play Adventures in Hyboria. And this game might be the thing. It might be something that can be used for that. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to take this game for a test spin, do a little mini series, some solo RPG gameplay. And for this first video in the series, we're going to do some character creation. So if you want to grab character sheets, pencil, you would need standard dice set. If you also have it and you want to learn how to create a character, we'll step through it. It's all randomized rolls. While you're grabbing that, we'll just talk a little bit at a high level about what is Tales of Argosa. And we'll just touch on the bullet points, okay? It's a sword and sorcery inspired emergent play adventure game. Got simple rules, fierce battle, dread sorcery, magic is rare and dangerous. They have this thing called DDM, which is dark and dangerous magic. You can unleash veil monsters, madness, mutations whenever you're casting. Bold adventurers. Got 9 classes, 9 level max, a flatter hit point curve. Unique features, a roll under system for attribute checks. Skills, willpower, and perception attributes replace wisdom. Minor, major, and rescue exploits. We'll talk about that once we get into gameplay. Fast initiative, only one player rolls for the whole party. Luck attributes that let you re-roll. It's got a thing called natural 19s, which do severe damage, like there's critical damage charts. Unbalanced encounters. It's meant to not be a balanced game, pretty hardcore. That's why it has chase and escape rules. Everything you run into is not going to be a fair fight. Got short rest for PCs. Long rest take about a week. Downtime, so it's earthy and gritty. And the rules do seem kind of simple to pick up. So character creation is basically randomized rolls. And again, I know I like to compare this to maybe Conan the Barbarian. Conan doesn't have like dwarves and elves and halfling type races. This game does. But if you were to look at the races section of the game, it does mention here that the player characters are meant to be humans, but the rest are added for greater variety. But what we'll do is, I think we'll go with a standard barbarian, rogue, and a magic user. And I don't think I read the classes out. Hold on. So the classes are artificer, barbarian, bard, cultist, fighter, monk, ranger, rogue, and magic user. Only 2 of which involve magic. And I'm just going to create 1 character fully for our little mini series. And then I'll probably roll the attribute dice for the other 2 and then build the rest of them off screen so that it doesn't take too long. All right, so with that, hopefully that gave you some time to grab your equipment. We are going to start going down the list of how to create the character. So first we're going to roll a d12 for race. Now, even though I kind of want to do humans, I will just roll randomly and we'll just see what we get. That's what I like to do on the channel. 10. All right, so we have got a dwarf. And then we're going to roll a d66 for background. So the red die will be the 10s. The white die will be the 1s. So we have a 21. So he was a galley slave. And when you're rolling for background, each entry gets an attribute bonus, a skill, and an item. So he's going to get +1 will. So his background is galley slave. +1 to will. And he's going to have watercraft is going to be his skill. It'll go here in the skill section. And then for an item, he's got a fishing rod, and we'll put that in his pack gear. And then we're going to generate attributes. So we're going to roll 3d6 7 times, allocate the results in order. And you must have at least one of 13 or higher and another of 15. If not, we can increase one to 13 and increase one to 15. Let's get those rolls going. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9. So our strength score right now is 9. Pretty weak dwarf. Dexterity is 7. Starting off rough. 7 for Constitution. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for Intelligence. He's had a rough life as the galley slave. 9 for Perception. Wow. 8 for Willpower. And Charisma. 8 for Charisma. So he is a frail thing. So we can have one, if not increase one attribute. So we can increase one of our attributes to 13 and increase one to 15. All right, let's see. And then we can swap 2. So Dexterity and Constitution are the lowest. I think we can make his Dexterity 13. Well, I guess we're going to choose our class too, because choose your class is next. So let's see if Rogue or Magic User, the Dwarf Magic User, if he's a Rogue, he needs high Dex. If he's a Magic User, and this guy's pretty frail, so I'm thinking we might make him the Magic User. Let's see, Magic User. We'll find it. Monk. Magic User, it needs Intelligence. One-handed weapon like crossbow slings. He doesn't get a +1 to Willpower. I'll give it a 9. Intelligence is 9. Let's go ahead. Let's make this guy the Magic User. All right, so he is going to be his class. Oh, I wrote this on the wrong line. But Magic User. His background is Galley Slave. I put that on the wrong line. Magic User. We're going to have our Dwarf Magic User. We're going to bump his Intelligence up to 15. And then, let's see. We want to bump his Dexterity up to 13. I think so. We'll bump his Dexterity up to 13. I have no idea if this is going to turn out good or not. All right. And then now that we're on the class page, we'll follow through what he has here. So his hit points is equal to his con score plus level. So 7, so he's going to have 8 hit points. His weapons, one-handed weapons like, class starting gear. Armor and shield. So he starts with a spell book, a long sword, and leather armor. All right, so he is going to have leather armor. So we're going to go down to this worn area. We'll put leather armor. That's going to give him a +1 to his AC. And then in his pack gear, he's going to have a spell book. And in his battle gear, he's going to have a long sword. And we're looking at the Magic User on page 33. And then he's got abilities, spellcraft, and sense magic. And here's his skills. All right, so we're going down here. We've got his hit points, his weapons, his light armor. He gets +1 to his AC. And then we'll jot his skills down. So he's going to get Arcane Lore and Apothecary, plus roll 1d10 3 times. So we're going to put Arcane Lore, Apothecary. And what skills do is they just give you a +1 to a related attribute check when you need to use that skill. And we're going to roll a d10 3 times. So I got 2 d10s. So we'll put one more in there. He's got a 10, a 8. Okay, so 6, 8, and 10. So 6 is gather info, 8 is persuasion, and 10 is wilderness lore. So gather info. That's 6. No, I'm sorry. 6 is general lore. Yeah, 6 is general lore. Let's change that. General lore. 8 is watercraft. Makes sense. And 10 is wilderness lore. Those are his skills. So we got that in the skills section over there. Then he gets ability, spellcraft, and sense magic. So we'll put spellcraft and sense magic. Then we'll take a look at that. So spellcraft, at first level, you know a number of spells equal to your intelligence bonus. Roll 1d100 and consult the spell list. Determine which. With each new level, you may learn one new spell during downtime through magical research. You begin an adventure with one use of this ability per level. You may spend the use of this ability to attempt to cast any spell you know. You may regain expended uses by taking short or long rests. Then it talks about his spell book. No warlock can hold the workings of magic in their mind for long. The process of learning a spell is in truth a thought-destroying one. The veil inexorably warps perception, riddles memories, and erodes sanity. To counter this, sorcerers bind their most dangerous secrets in spellbooks, storing them apart from their daily consciousness until required. How often a magic user must study their spellbook is abstracted, but a wizard without their scrolls and tomes eventually finds himself unable to invoke magic, cackling mad or destroyed in an ill-fated miscast. And then it has a little bit about sense magic. We can make an arcane lore test. All right, so in this game, you don't get to pick your spells. You're going to roll them randomly, which I love random rolls. So we'll roll the 1d100 based on our intelligence bonus. So let me find our bonuses real quick. Our intelligence bonus. We have a 15. That's a +2. And in fact, let me just write down all our attribute modifiers right now. So a 9 is nothing. And that's what you will put in the mod line next to it. Dexterity of 13, that's a +1. Constitution of 7, that's a -1 mod. Intelligence of 15 is a +2. 9 is nothing. 8 is -1. So this guy's getting -1 on most of his rolls. And in this game, we have something called great successes and terrible failures. So you can overly succeed or fail miserably. There's a little table down here, and that's what the GS and the TF is for. So a great success on a strength test, and you're wanting to roll under a 9. So to get a great success for a 9, I'd have to roll a 4 or less. And to get a terrible failure if I rolled above a 14. For dexterity, a great success is 6. A terrible failure is a 20. For constitution of 7, a great success is a 3. Terrible failure is 11. Intelligence of 15, to get a great success is 7 or below. Terrible failure is 20. 9 is 4 and 14 again. And 8 is 4 for a great success. 13 for a terrible failure. 4 and 13. That's how you fill out this attribute section. All right, so let's go back and get our spells. So right now we got a +2. So we're going to have 2 spells. And we can only cast it once a day. Or once per level without taking a short rest. I believe that is what I read. All right. First level, you know a number of spells equal to your intelligence. So we know 2 spells. We're going to roll a D100 to determine which, and they're on page 100. All right, page 100. So here's the spell list. What is the first thing that this dwarf knows? 48. Hunger for blood. Combat haste to gain a second attack for a short time. All right, so spells. I'm just going to write that here because I don't see any particular. I'll write it at the bottom here. Hunger for blood. And that is on page 101. And that's kind of like a haste, second attack. And I wonder if it has a longer entry in here somewhere. I have to find that out. Spells, it does. Hunger for blood. That's right here. So that's on page 106. We're just going to put a little 106 there. And then if we hunger for blood, it's close. So it doesn't have to be in melee. It doesn't have to be touching, but it has to be in the same room. It lasts for 2d6 rounds. The target of this spell gains 1 bonus attack when they use their action to attack. On a great success, you may affect the second target. When the spell ends, the target must make a will check or is compelled to drink from the skull of a dead enemy. If prevented from doing so, they go into a murderous rage. If the will check is a terrible fail, the target also suffers a random madness. Woo! All right, the dwarf is not playing around. That's going to be tough. That's one of those dire circumstance spells to cast. All right. Now you see what I'm talking about with the brutality of it. And this is only just the beginning. Okay, page 100. Let's see what the second spell this dwarf knows. Something mild. 93. Let's see. 93 is Undead Servant. Animate a humanoid corpse to serve you. Okay. Undead Servant. So he's a frail dwarf who commands the undead. And Undead Servant, we'll see if that is something that can be more accessible. Ranged touch, permanent. This accursed necromancy animates a humanoid corpse as a skeleton or zombie. As part of another action, you may issue spoken orders, which the undead obeys. The monster acts at the same time as you in future turns. Animating the dead is fraught with peril and always triggers a dark and dangerous magic effect. On a great success, you may animate 2 corpses. Okay. That is on page 110. Piece of cake. So we got our class chosen. We're back to our character creation setup. We're on, our luck is 11. So it's 10 plus your level. That's why it's 11. So we're just right at 11 in this little luck box. Our dark and dangerous magic is 1. That kind of adds up over time. Initiative is the average of dex and intelligence rounded down. So intelligence is 15. Dex is 13. That's 28. So our initiative is 14. Which means I think we have a +1 mod for initiative. We do. And for initiative, a great success would be on a 7 or less. A terrible failure will be on a 20. Hit points are calculated according to your class. We did hit points already. It was 7 plus 1. Death save is 10 plus your con. So our death save is 9. That's not great. That's not great. He's definitely got to stay out of trouble. Oh, and I forgot to add my 1 to our willpower. So our willpower is actually a 9, which means we'll have a flat score there. 4 and 14. So, you know, a little bit average apart from the spells that he learned as a galley slave. Skills, class abilities. Okay, then we're to our battle gear. Battle gear slots are half your strength rounded down to a minimum of 5, so he will have 5 battle gear slots. And the other half are pack gear, round up to 5. Yep, so he'll have 5. He can have a torch, bedroll, rations, a tinderbox, and 10 silver pieces. So it looks like battle gear. We'll put the torch maybe in his battle gear. And then he's got bedroll, rations, and a tinderbox. And he's got 10 silver in his coin purse. All right. Our armor class is equal to our 10 plus your armor bonus plus dex. Our dex mod is +1. Our leather armor is +1, so that's a +2. So that's going to be 10 plus 2, so our armor class is 12. Your attack bonus equals your class attack bonus plus strength modifier for melee or perception for ranged. Okay, so no bonus. And rerolls. Did we already do rerolls? Rerolls should be 1. Your rerolls are 1 for other races. I skipped over that. All right, 13. Your attack bonus is equal to your strength. I don't see a place for attack bonus. Choose bonus languages equal to your intelligence modifier. If it's -2 or 3, you are illiterate. So bonus languages. I don't see a part here to put languages, so we'll come back to that. If anybody knows, let me know in the comments. I don't see a list of languages or anything like that. Your age is 1d20 plus 16 years. Let's see how old this dwarf is. The dwarf is only 19. So he is a very young dwarf. Probably explains why he's so weak and frail. Name your adventurer on page 156. Let's see what the dwarf's name is. And then based on his name, we'll see if it's male or female, because I think it has different things here. So we'll roll a D100 for that. That is a 36. 36 is Ferox. Ferox. Ferox the dwarf. I don't know. I think that may be a female. So for sex, we'll put female level 1. And they need 10 XP to get to level 2. They've got 0 right now. Right, and then I think the only other thing we can fill out is our weapon stuff if we would like to. And we'll go back and check it, and I think that'll be the complete character creation run through. Finally, roll D66 for a party bond on page 44. Let's get a party bond. And that's basically a way to connect the characters. So we'll see how this connects with one of the other characters. So these two people, 2 of them are going to know each other based on this. Let's see. The blue is the 1s. White is the 10s. So 62. Muscle for a crime boss. All right, so party bonds. Muscle for crime boss. Maybe he knows the barbarian. That would probably be a good party bond to share with the barbarian. Okay. That's everything. And now there's just a little bit of cleanup. So we went through these phases. We got our character sheet. We've created everything that we needed here. We can fill out the weapons piece. So we'll go to look up the weapons. He starts with a long sword. That might give some different bonuses or things that we may want to track. So let's go ahead to equipment. Skills here tells you which attribute goes with which skill. A bit about rerolls, backgrounds. All right, let's see. Equipment. All right, here we are. Melee weapons. So we know for our weapon, we got a long sword. So we're going to put here long sword. And for a long sword, range is NA. It has to be touch, hit. Oh, okay. So the hit is probably what we have to roll for melee. So our attack bonus, I don't think we have any attack bonus because our strength is nil. So we'll just put no bonus to hit. Damage is 1d8. On a natural 19, we do 1d10 plus 2. So we'll put 1d10 plus 2. And we can disarm. Oh, no. No, that's not disarm. 1d10 plus 2 blade trauma. And then the properties are plus 1 damage if we have it two-handed. And natural 19, we can disarm. So plus 1 damage if we hold it two-handed. And nat 19, we can also try to disarm if we get the natural 19. So we can do blade trauma or disarm. Okay. And then on a crit, we would do, just like a crit, we would do 8 damage. Because on a crit, when you roll a crit, you just do the max damage for your weapon. And then you'd have that filled out like so. All right. I think that's everything from the printed out character sheet. There's a little table with the attributes, the great success, and the terrible failure. That's what we use to fill these numbers out up here. Rescue is something you can do one time per adventure to try to save somebody if they're about to die or you need to stop at something dramatic. That's how you create the character. We've got our spells, our spell book, sense magic. Pretty simple and straightforward. This is going to be Ferox, our female dwarf wizard. And then the only other thing we'll do to wrap up the video, we will go ahead and I'm going to roll the attributes for the other characters. I won't move them around or anything yet, but that's just to keep track. I'll roll the attributes and the race, and then I'll create the rest of them off camera. So let's just do this for our records. Character creation, this unknown one. Next one, we're gonna roll a d12. What do we get? Oh, seriously? Halfling or half scorn? All right, I think we'll make this guy a half scorn. Scorn are like pinkish beastmen. So half scorn, who knows what he looks like. And then let's go ahead and get the attributes going. Strength is 13. Not a bad start. 11 for Dex. That is 11 for Constitution. 9 for Intelligence. 10 for Perception. 7 for willpower. Nine for charisma. All right, and then I'll figure out later on who that's gonna be. We have to have at least one 13 and another 15. If we don't, so we do have a 13, so we just have to change one of these to 15s. We'll figure that out later. And then the last character, let's see what they are. 9 is a human. All right, so this is going to be our only human. Dwarf, a half scorn, and a human. And then we'll roll up their attributes. That is 10 in strength. 11 in dex. 12 in con. 7 in intelligence. 10 in perception. 10 in willpower and charisma. 12, 13, 14, 15, 17 in charisma. Wow. All right, so he just needs he gets to change 1 to 13. Okay. And that's where we'll conclude the video for today. Start of our series. Looking forward to diving into this game, learning a little bit more about Tales of Argosa. And we will be checking back in. We'll get these characters created. And then I think in the next video, we'll probably talk a little bit about creating the world, creating a starting point. We'll use a couple of oracles to kind of set the foundation and get the quest. And then we'll start from there. This game does have some solo rules for exploration and dungeon exploration and things like that. So we'll check it out. We'll do a little bit of everything. All right. So again, that's the character sheet. They do have some pre-built gens on DriveThruRPG. So I will just kind of let this go through. If you want to get a pre-gen, you can print off a pre-gen from DriveThru. I think it's free, and that'll give you a good way to kind of make sure you're filling out your character sheet correctly. All right, hope you enjoyed that fun process. These characters, if they're going to live or die, I don't know. These stats, they're definitely not overpowered, so it's a grim world, but it doesn't take too long to make them. All right. Don't forget to hit that like, comment, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching and have a nice day.